We talk a lot on this podcast about secularism and the post-Christendom West. But secularism does not necessarily mean that people have become less spiritual. In fact, increasing numbers across the West describes themselves as spiritual but not religious. They have left religion, usually Christianity, in favor of self-defined, individualistic spirituality. Now, this trend may appear to be new, but Michael Horton aims to unveil its ancient pedigree in his new book, Shaman and Sage, The Roots of Spiritual but Not Religious in Antiquity, a book published by Erdman's. Horton is the J. Gresham Machen Professor of Systematic Theology and Apologetics at Westminster Seminary, California. In short, Mike wants us to see that what we call New Age spirituality wasn't invented by the flower-powered generation of the 1960s, but goes all the way back in Western civilization. Christian theism may be out by many, but it's not being replaced so much by atheism and agnosticism, but the occult. Michael Horton joins me now to explain. Welcome, Mike.
Hey, Colin. I wish that I had summarized the book that succinctly. I wouldn't have had all those pages. That's really
Well, we're going to hope to boil that down in this interview. It is a stimulating, but it is a dense read. You're dealing with some very complicated and unfamiliar, I think, to many listeners and viewers here. Certainly unfamiliar to me. You've done so many different things throughout a long and illustrious career. How long has this particular project been in the works for you?
Yeah, it really has been percolating for the last 35 years.
Wow.
It was when I was doing my PhD studies. I should have been paying attention to my PhD studies. I was going to other lectures by professors on philosophy of religion and history of religions, myth, scholars of myth, and just kind of getting into this because I was trying to understand what was already then a phenomenon of spiritual but not religious. People didn't call it that yet, but it was that phenomenon. You know, the people you meet on the plane. Yeah. You probably people you maybe sit around the table with at dinner. It's increasingly the outlook of many people. So I wanted to understand that phenomenon. And there was a professor who was especially intriguing to me at the time. He was a professor at an evangelical theological college and was an evangelical theologian and then he became, well, not. So at Oxford, he was one of the most popular professors, and his lectures were packed with students who were eager to hear his next sentence. And the whole purpose of those lectures was showing that the mystical branches of the world's religions all sort of in a Venn diagram all meet in the middle. And it's at their mystical core that religions are one. Now, we've heard that a million times. Right. He did it in a very erudite way. And that really, I think, got me going because that in an academic fashion is what I've heard so much on the street.
So this has been through all the other work in systematic theology and elsewhere. This has just been percolating in the back for you?
Yes. Yeah, I have wasted all of my sabbaticals on this project. So I was always doing it in between the other projects, but yeah. But lately I just full board. This has been my focus for the last 10 years.
And 2 more volumes to come, is that right?
Right.
Okay.
Yep.